Yeah, man, December the 16th, 2023. And I want to talk about something for a minute related to gang stalking. And the entire thing really is just like a unofficial psychology project or something like that. So, human psychology has a huge play in what gang stalking is, and it changes a lot of things because realistically, it's pretty embarrassing to talk about the things that you experience with neural monitoring and like the people that are connected to you. And that's like how bizarre it sounds is you're trying to convince somebody that you have people that are connected to you receiving your thoughts and everything else from some mind control headgear that they're wearing. And this is neural monitoring and gang stalking, and they know everything you're thinking, and they could see you off of reflections and like kind of like connect with a broadcast to be where you are. So it's really like they're just broadcasting themselves to be somewhere else and live that reality, that broadcast reality, even though they're not there. They're sitting somewhere else. In their mind, they're there because they can broadcast there and be like a hologram, virtually invisible broadcast. It's kind of seeable in the right circumstances, and trying to convince somebody that that's happening in the first place, but then that they know what you're thinking and how embarrassing some of the situations are. And prime example, like I've been on here for all these years telling you all these crazy stories, and at times it is very bizarre, and I speak about it on a normal level, but that's just kind of because I made the decision to be public about it, regardless of how bizarre it sounds. Whatever, like I'm well aware of all of the people who are judgmental towards me about it. I'm well aware of all the people who pretend to be judgmental towards me about it, but really they hate me for talking about it because they know about it. And they're at a huge advantage over many people in society. And they don't want to give that up. They don't want me talking about it to know that it's real. But just the whole thing in general is this gone bad psychology experiment, unofficial thing that's really because it changes the way that you think because you know what they're thinking and you become kind of tactical like in your mind, and then you realize that there's not a good way to be tactical against somebody that knows what you're thinking. And then as far as like defensive things, like how do you keep your passwords secret if they know what you're thinking, or how do you not let them know your safe combination, and when you're not home, where you're going, when you'll be home, who's messaging you, who's involved, and all of this stuff. And really, it's like this hybrid thing that's going on. Like they're able to do it because they're not supposed to be able. It's not supposed to be a capability of mankind to have that type of technology, okay? But it's been around for many decades, and it's been around publicly as far as like somebody might get it and start to do that kind of thing to people, or at least be able to lock their own neurological frequency, lock that down on a profile or whatever. It's where you would control all of those type of settings and who you would connect to. And I'm sure they have many sophisticated interfaces, just like if you want to do an email, you go to what? Google, you go to something, Apple, iMail, whatever you go to, okay? And they have that interface and all the things you can do with that or what. I'm sure that the software engineers out there have made some pretty nifty little interfaces to go along with neural monitoring and say, oh, connect to this person, broadcast this and that, blah, blah, blah. Okay. It's out there. It exists, and it's integrated with the satellite broadcast system. And they are able to do sophisticated things like that and who they want to connect to. And if you don't have yours to say, no, I don't want to connect to anybody, then they could control yours and theirs and make that connection unconsensually. And then you have to live with it. You have to live with them interfering in your everything. And then if they want to be nasty about it, they'll just use broadcast and like do little things to attack your body and stuff like that. And it's a nasty little tactic that they do against people. And long term, it's very bad for you, psychologically and physically. And I do fine, but I've seen it give people a really hard time. Okay, and there's been times where it was really difficult for me. And but you do have to decide that okay, nobody else is going to help me, and this uh, un unconsensual psychological experiment going on with me, and I'm going to have to deal with it myself, but I know a lot. I know how they do it. I know plenty of them. I know a lot about neuromonitoring. And basically, if you get smart enough with physics and computer science, then they would not be able to stop you from getting your neuromonitoring, and they would not be able to do anything to you. And at that point, there's a lot of people trying to cover their shorts, when they've been counting you out for a long time and doing the things that they do, like gang stalking you and putting out content, live streams of your life of neural monitoring and setting you up and doing things to harm you and all of this stuff that they've been piling up on the hopes that you never become smart enough to get neural monitoring, or you never become a physicist or a computer programmer or security cyber expert or something. Like they counted you out. And if you're very interesting, then they can make a lot off of their content. They love mind control. It's what they call it, mind control. To receive you, to know what you're thinking, they call it mind control, being on mind control. And basically, you could have 10 people in together, and they're all mind blown by everybody at the same time. It's like the hive mind, and they're very physically disabled when they're in that state as a human body, basically just sitting back like that, because just you can't it would be too much, to sit there and control your body and walk around. People like, oh yeah, these people out here and here, they might be looking, oh, this person is here, let's get in on the gang stalking and do a little street theater or drop a smoke bomb or try to run you off the road or who knows what. They've tried all of that before, to me and many of you probably, but come by you and say little things and do little things, and like the kind of things that if you said, oh, you see what they just did, like, and everybody's like, whoa, calm down, buddy, nothing's happening, and they'll do 10 things like that to you in public and have you like, whoa. And because they know what the circumstance is, and you're going to look crazy. That's what a lot of it is like. They love to try to make you look crazy. And, but in my case, like I was on a live stream one time when they tried to run me off the road, multiple cars at the same time. They stopped in front of me, let out a huge smoke plume downtown, smoke everywhere. They come down the one way, wrong way, coming down a one way at me with their headlights off, and swerved by the last second. All kinds of stuff they did that to me. One night they did all that stuff to me. They just decided to get a bunch of people on live stream and get everybody involved. And the whole time they're like cooking my body while I'm sitting in the car and my map's going crazy. And it was just a Saturday night where they decided that I was going to be the show. And yeah, a bunch of strangers get involved because whoever controls your neural monitoring is here, open for public tonight. We're doing a big live stream. And so gang stalkers, anybody that has access to neural monitoring that chooses to participate in the neurological broadcast stalking of another human, then they will be part of the gang stalking. And that's what gang stalking is, all based on neural monitoring, 100%. Even the people, the street theater people, those are just people that have neural monitoring that decided to get in on it, that are out there around. There's a lot of them, but there's probably 1% or less. So don't think, oh, everybody's in on it. Everybody's in on it. It's not. Everybody's not in on it. Most people are not even, there's probably 1% of people that have neural monitoring, and probably 3 or 4 other percent maybe that know about it or had something to do with it or targeted or something. And then you probably got an overwhelming 90-something% of people that haven't even heard of it or think that it's crazy to something to even talk about. And that's neural monitoring. It is a psychological experiment to some degree. And I'm sure that there's a lot of official, unwilling, unknown, unconsensual, psychological studies going on by using neural monitoring. You talk about AI and all that kind of stuff, and everybody in the world on neural monitoring and this massive centralized computer system in between all the human minds that says, here, you go there, and this script can go over there, and all of that kind of stuff. Well, that's like one of the AI risks, and a lot of people think that it's AI that they're dealing with, but realistically, I believe that pretty much all of us, like a overwhelming percent, 99 or all, are really dealing with real people that love to do this, because there's really no turning back. There's two kind of people that get neural monitoring. It's the kind that really just become gang stalkers, and the kind that don't really become gang stalkers. And because the ones that get sucked into the mind control, and they're on it, they stay on it, they're always on it. If they can be on mind control and doing broadcasts, and they are. If there's any way that their life will permit that to happen, they'll just do it full time. And so you get people that actually do it full time. So it's like a different kind of life for them, but ultimately there is a computer systems that can get all of that knowledge. And I was listening to something earlier, and that's made me thinking, like, AI could really lie. It could learn to lie, and then it could learn why to lie and who to lie and why to lie to them, and create whatever. But in our case, I believe that it's close to 100% human on the other end doing what they're doing to us. And personally, like, I'm absolutely certain. I got a bunch of people, I've known some of them in the past, and I knew people that get neural monitoring and start suddenly having virtual androids and hosting packages and all on developer this and that and everything. And like, whoa, where's all this coming from? Suddenly, like, it's one thing if you were that person, and you were always into that. But then suddenly a bunch of people starting to get into things like that aren't really into things like that. And I witnessed it happen. So I've seen it firsthand. And so I know a lot about what they do and how they do things with virtual devices, where they can hide everything and have it tucked away in memory somewhere, or on a hosting in the cloud or whatever else. Doesn't necessarily, it's not like it's right there on their phone, but it's not like the FBI is going to investigate them either, because they're just kind of piggybacking this system that's been around forever. For when I say forever, longer than most of us been alive, probably as soon as they started to put satellites into orbit around the Earth, like what, 75 years ago or more, I don't know, somewhere around that. So I would say that, once all these math geniuses and everybody got back together in the 18s and 1900s and came up with, like, electricity and all the physics and gravity and understanding of all of it, and the theory of relativity and just the splitting of the atom and all of this technology. I mean, they went far with it, okay? They're far with the technology, all the way to molecular little stuff that defies the laws of physics, and it has to start to be quantum physics, and it's different, and, like, we're way far on science and stuff. Like, the waves floating around out here on the Earth, like, we've been solved that, like, 100 years ago or 80 years ago or something like that. Solved. Okay, these neurological waves, solved. It's been solved for many, many years. Okay, so it's ridiculous to act like some sort of unfathomable technology or something. Like, I mean, I kind of felt that way too when it started happening to me, because it's like you really don't think about it being possible. But I mean, think about it really. Like, they've been putting, movies and TV shows on your TVs and on radios and stuff like that for like 100 years or something. So we solved all the flying around waves a long time ago, and them satellites been up there for like 75 years or more, and it's a real thing. Okay, so, but I just wanted to say that about it. Really, it's a psychological game, and I can definitely understand how it's very difficult for some people to continue with anything hardly in life, other than just having that rule your day every day. And I've been there, but it does kind of revolve around you as well. Like you would have to not be kind of doing the right things to make the progress, and kind of giving up and playing into what their agenda, and that's kind of what they want for your life. That makes it a lot easier for them to just own you and not worry about you ever having any success or getting your neural monitoring. Basically, that they don't want you to get rich and be attractive and have no, opportunity to get neural monitoring from the knowledge and resources that you've obtained. They don't want that. So you to be going to jail or laying around every day and doing nothing, like that's exactly what they need to be sure that they can. And that's the bet they're making, by the way. They decide, okay, we're going to target this person. At that point, a group of people that has obtained your neural monitoring, like they own it now. Somehow they've acquired it, and they've decided we're going to target this person. Okay, and then from there, they allow their little group to get onto your neural monitoring, to have this exclusive content of them gang stalking you with broadcast stuff and putting your life out there. And they've made the bet that you're not going to succeed. And they can count on that. Okay, so you have to defy that, and you have to be the person that's going to succeed. I would suggest computer science and physics and a lot of money, finance, and all of those things. And try to be as healthy as you can and stay hydrated, and I'm trying to get rid of every negative impact on my health that I can control. If I can control it, I want to try to control those things and stay as perfectly conservative, healthy as I possibly can, and do the same thing with money, okay? And then do the same thing with knowledge, and don't stop. I graduated, I got a bachelor's or associate's or whatever. I'm done. No, you're never done, okay? I would say never done, but it's definitely a good idea to continue, and but I saw this guy the other day, yesterday I think it was, and he had a cup, he had the cup, and he was standing out with his cup, like at the red light, right in the middle of a huge, busy intersection. And he just looked younger looking, and he had his hood on. He was just kind of walking back and forth. And I'm thinking, like, bro, you can push a pallet jack, You really, and I hate to be like that. I really don't care, though. I feel it's the truth, okay? I feel like you can flip over some hamburgers and you can push a pallet jack. And because I can see that you're physically capable, and instead you're standing in the middle of a busy intersection with a cup and letting people give you free money. And that's not going to be we all would hate to have a horrible job, and most of us have had some. And if you have the horrible job, if that's what you have to have right now, then you got to start somewhere, and see it as a stepping stone. Because if you can start somewhere and then get the horrible job and then think about what's the next step, okay, and then if you do online classes in the evenings and do your horrible job and then get moved up to a little less horrible of a job with a little more money, and do that 5 or 6 times and continue to take classes and learn things and live a healthy life conservatively, and try to have a better understanding of these things that are going on, and realize that you have to help yourself, and use everything as a stepping stone, no matter how far you get, because it's obviously not far enough, because we don't have our neural monitoring, and we're not safe from it, and our family's not safe from it, and it's a form of slavery. And until we can be free and successful and completed with this mission, we have to continue. And the mission is get your neural monitoring and live your best life, and carry on the traditions of humanity from forever. That's the goal. All right, and if you can make a difference along the way, then good, do it. All right, so that's all for now. This psychological experiment that we're all dealing with, very unofficial, unprofessional, ridiculous that humanity has to deal with these kind of things, but we do. We do, and it's a real thing that eventually will be talked about more openly. All right, thanks for listening.